Hi, I'm Alois Bunjira and you're listening to the ZiFM Sport Podcast.
It's Lionel Messi! He scored! The goal the world wanted!
It's time for the biggest sports stories.
It's Neymar trying to feed it through. It's a stretch and it's in! And I can't remember the last time I saw something like this. Extraordinary scenes.
The biggest interviews.
It's more difficult. Obviously, it's more difficult.
And all the analysis right here.
If they play poorly, they've come back, they've got all the excuses. You can't have it both ways.
Every weekday, it's my sport, it's your sport. It's ZiFM Sport. Let's join the team for the biggest show in the world of sport on ZiFM Stereo. My station, your station.
Plenty to look forward to this weekend in the world of sport, local as well as international, with season 2019 of the Castle Lager Premier Soccer League season just over a month away. Dynamos coach Lloyd MaBlanyo Chigowe is confident he's building a squad that can challenge. The 2019 Super Rugby season got underway in spectacular fashion this morning, with the Otago Highlanders beating the Waikato Chiefs 30-27 in a masterclass of New Zealand rugby. And in the beautiful game, Juventus, the old lady of Turin, La Signora La Vecchia, kicks off the weekend's action tonight with a relatively easy assignment against relegation-threatened Frosinone. The team is in the studio. Mark Pozzo, Chris Gray, Alois Bunjira, Barry Manandi. My name is Mike Madoda, and the man behind the desk, Sean Tafirenyika.
The Power Play on ZiFM Sport.
Released yesterday on Valentine's Day, Winky D featuring Gemma Griffiths. It's written as Mugarden, but it's Mugarden.
You and me, hapana chingatinete
chinowanza pesa misa vanutu vanodanana imari nemutauro kuba kuhamane shamwari vatiteri tu takavharirwa mugadheni ngatifambo zedu tichitemba simba ramwari
ina ndive ndakasiya wandinoda rudo rwangu ndinopaiwe bebi hapana chinoshota handipa kusiya nenyota
zvaunoda ini ndoita chero hasi usazontyisa muchero vimbika pandiri chimboita wani mufero
bebi zvaunada ini ndoita chero handipa kutyisa muchero handikusiye ndini ndegagero
achirarambesa atamuna ivo mugadeni toita setingori tuchete handifunge kune tingatinete muno mune mufaro hona tunjiva
ndationa mbero rerudo ravira ngatiite zvataivavarira
pamoyo wakandibata ipapo ndichakubata ipapo
hana zikuroverana zvichaitapa
bata ipapo ndichakubata ipapo
hakonanga ndidapangasa
zvaunoda ini ndoita chero hasi usazontyisa muchero vimbika pandiri chimboita wani mufero
bebi zvaunada ini ndoita chero handipo kutyisa muchero handikusiye ndini ndegagero
katirarambesa atamuna ivo mugadeni toita setingori
What a tune by the incomparable Winky D featuring Gemma Griffiths, Mugarden. But like Barry said, answer Mugarden.
Yes, sire.
What a track, Barry. What an absolute
like
track.
The gaffer, when the gaffer says Mugarden, he means Mugarden. What a track. What a video. Absolutely phenomenal. And the great thing is that, listen, it's a love song, but wasn't released necessarily as a love song. It's cross-sectional.
Well, talking about love, our love is for sport, especially as we head into the weekend. Plenty of big matches to look forward to in the world of football. The action getting underway tonight when Juventus takes on Frosinone. Stay tuned. The full team is in the studio to deliver what should be a power-packed edition of ZiFM Sport on your favorite station.
The Chevrons, the Cheetahs, the Mighty Warriors, and the Sables. From the pool to the track to the field, we are Team Zimbabwe. The Home Front. Local sports news and analysis.
Don't forget, you could be a big winner today. You could be our daily winner in the ProFeeds Sports Trivia. All you need to do is send through the hashtag ProFeeds Trivia to our WhatsApp number 0731 168 045. That's 0731 168 045. Hashtag ProFeeds Trivia. We'll call you, ask you 2 questions. You get both of them right, you're our daily winner. You could be the winner of our monthly prize, which is a Capri fridge. What a way to start the year. Let's start the show with news out of the top tier of domestic football. That is the Castle Lager Premier Soccer League, where Dynamos coach Lloyd MaBlanyo Chigowe feels he still needs a bit of time before his new look squad finally gels into a competitive side. With the 2019 Castle Lager Premiership season set to start on the 30th of March, time is slowly running out for local clubs to get their act together in pre-season. For Dynamos, it has been a huge task, considering that the club lost at least 3/4 of their playing staff from last season. Dimbare had a poor 2018 campaign in which they flirted with relegation for most periods before finally securing their premiership status with 3 games to go. Let's hear from the Dimbare gaffer, Lloyd Chigowe.
I said Dynamos need revamp. It was in recognition of the fact that we were lacking in quality. We were not as dominant as we should be. And that way, number 11 is a true reflection of the season. And, the log does not lie. As a coach, you need to assess the weaknesses and the strength. And you must also believe yourself that it can be done. But you must also have a method of getting the job done. I would like to think you need players who are at home in Rufaro Stadium, which is the home of Dynamos. You would not want players who get nerves when they are playing in front of their own crowd. Which means we are looking at experienced players, some of them formerly at Dynamos, some from outside Dynamos. And of course, there will be a blend of talented youngsters coming in.
Well, MaBlanyo, they're saying all the right things, Mike. He's talking about the fact blending youth and experience. The proof of the pudding is in the eating. He certainly seems to have given himself a chance, given the murmurings that we're hearing in terms of the experience that he's brought in. The question is, can the youngsters live up to their billing? Because he seems to think that they're good enough.
Well, Mel, I start off by saying one thing. He certainly talks a lot better than he looks. When you see his pictures, you
do not expect him.
You don't expect him to be so eloquent. To piece his thoughts so finely together. And so what it shows me is that he's a keen football mind. He's a man who probably loves the game, has studied the game. But at Dynamos, he's facing a monumental challenge because Dynamos right now is not looking a good dish either. No. And we will be just as surprised if Dynamos are to come out playing good football this coming season, especially the first few matches, because it's a new squad. It's a new squad we're talking about, young and old players, and Chigowe and Morape have got a very big job to try and piece these pieces together and make sure that they gel in time for a challenge in the Castle Lager Premier Soccer League.
Absolutely, and if we look at those statistics of Dynamos versus last season, Chris, they don't make for good reading, because finishing in 11th place, but 36 points on back-to-back champions FC Platinum. When you've got to make up a gap of 36 points, you think to yourself, chances of them challenging for honours are slim to nil. What they've got to focus on is finishing as high up the table as is possible.
Absolutely. I would go as far as to say that they need to focus on actually finishing above the relegation zone, because last season we saw them literally tittering above for a few weeks and then they managed to climb back up again. But I think that this season what they need to focus on is actually rebuilding and surviving relegation. I think challenging for honours is a bit of a dream for Dynamos at the moment. You can't be rebuilding a team year after year after year. There has to be some consistency in that team. If you want to then put out statements like we want to challenge for honours, you have to have a level of consistency. And right now, there's no backbone. There's no spine at Dynamos that you can look at and say, you know what, these players have been there. You can say, yes, there is the experience, but for me, honestly, I think they should just focus on surviving relegation.
Well, so far, Chigowe has named a squad of 23 players, which include Congolese striker Ngandu Mangala, while Ghanaian Robert Saki seems to have impressed the coach during the trials. Now he's hoping to add Alois 2 more foreign players to that squad, and it may be that surprise element perhaps that gives the fans hope at Rufaro Stadium and may spur Dynamos forward, because these are players that the opposition will know very little about, and so that surprise factor may be the one of a few things that are working in Dynamos' favor. I mean,
yeah, you see, when you see the way they are doing it, they need a backbone for the team. So probably that's what they are working on. Sometimes you only need 5 good players in a team and you just have supporting acts in that team. So we just want to wait and see if they are going to have those kind of players. I know they've got Ashford Gudu. I think he's one of the players that are going to be to form the backbone of the team. Sadomba as well, he's going to lead from the front. His experience is also going to weigh in. He has been at Dynamos before, so he is going to give them something of great value. But we don't know yet about these foreign players. We talked about FC Platinum and foreign players. That's what we need in our league. We want that flavor that is coming from other countries that can actually come and add value. We saw what Epupa did at Dynamos. You know, if he had stayed for 2 more seasons, he could have added even more to Dynamos. So we wait and see. So I won't write them off yet. I just want to see what they will do in the first few games.
We won't write them off yet. We'll wait to see. Well, it's just a little over a month until the season gets underway, and a lot of eyes, of course, will be focused on Dimbare to see how they will do. We want to know your thoughts on Dimbare. Can they challenge, or will they, of course, opt for the relative safety of mid-table? Or, like Chris Gray suggested, there's maybe a task that should see them trying to avoid a relegation dogfight. 0731 168 045. That's the WhatsApp platform, 0731 168 045. Twitter and Facebook at ZiFM Sport. Coming up, your local sports news roundup with Pause.
Hi, I'm Clemens Matau, chicken in midfielder. You're listening to ZiFM Sports.
Right, we start with cricket, and the Zimbabwe ladies cricket team is set to travel to Uganda for a T20 tri-series at the beginning of April as part of their preparations for the 2019 ICC Women's T20 World Cup Africa qualifiers. Zimbabwe will host these continental qualifiers, a 9-team tournament, which will see the 2 finalists booking a place into the next stage of the qualifying phase, the Global Qualifying Tournament. Zimbabwe captain Mariana Musonda is hoping the trip to East Africa for the tri-series, also involving Kenya, will help her team get into shape for the qualifiers. To the swimming pool, where the Zimbabwe Aquatic Union is satisfied with the team to represent the country at Kana Zone 4 Swimming Championships to be held in Windhoek, Namibia, starting tomorrow until the 20th of February. Over 450 athletes will be drawn from 12 Zone 4 countries, including Angola, Botswana, the Comores, Eswatini, Mozambique, Malawi, Mauritius, Seychelles, South Africa, Zambia, Zimbabwe, and the hosts. Zimbabwe Aquatic Union President Mary Kloppers, the association, says they've put together a strong team and the expectations are high that they will be successful. To athletics, the 2019 edition of the Old Mutual Harare Marathon is set to take place on Sunday, starting off at Old Georgian Sports Club in Groombridge. In this year's edition of the marathon, runners stand to walk away with $2,000 as the first prize in both male and female categories, while half marathon winners get $500 each. About 1,300 participants are expected this year, with a mixture of professional and amateur runners expected to compete in varying categories.
In the Far East, there are many languages spoken, from the enchanting elephants in Thailand to the sizzling street food in Jakarta. The waves lapping on the shores of Bali and Phuket. Or a greeting from a new friend.
你好.
Fly Emirates to 22 destinations across the Far East and pick up some new languages on your next holiday. Visit emirates.com. Fly Emirates. Fly better.
Questa Play is unlike TV. Questa Play stay entertained all day. Online streaming channels on your TV. For kids, entertainment. Movies, sports, and music. Gaming, travel, and more. Premium entertainment on Questa Play. Watch it all, find it all. Questa Play is unlike TV. Unlike TV, yeah. Questa Play stay entertained all day. Questa Play is unlike TV. Unlike TV. Questa Play stay entertained all day.
Get your Questa Play device for just $59. Questa Play. It's unlike TV.
Hello, my name is Ibn Itzwith. I play for the Stormers and the Springboks. You're listening to ZiFM.
International Sports News Roundup, where the world comes out to play.
The greatest show on earth is back, and there were 2 matches played this morning in Super Rugby. A new look. Melbourne Rebels stormed past the Brumbies in the opening encounter in Canberra. The Rebels, bolstered by the signing of enigmatic Wallabies outcast Quade Cooper to partner Will Guinya at halfback, posted 5 tries in their 34-27 win. But the match of the day saw a 14-man Highlanders come from behind to kick off their Super Rugby season with a thrilling 30-27 win over the Waikato Chiefs in Hamilton. All Black scrum half Aaron Smith's late try sealed the win for the Highlanders, who had C.O. Tommkinson sent off for a high shot on Brodie Retallick. They trailed 19-10 at halftime, and Captain Ben Smith say they had to dig deep for the away win. Let's get the post-match thoughts of match winner Aaron Smith, the Highlanders halfback.
Oh, well, you know, it's, New Zealand derbies are always 80-minute games, and you know, when we went down to 40 men, we just sort of, it probably helped us, if anything. It made us a bit more carefree. Just said, you know, we've got to try things now. And we, you know, we went for a short kick-off. Bender got it back. That was a big moment in the game for us. And knowing from past experience, when sometimes a team goes down one man, you kind of get a bit like, oh, we'll win from here. Maybe that sort of sunk into the Chiefs. But, you know, full credit to our bench, full credit to Josh Ioane leading us around. And our forward pack was great in their last 20 minutes. And, you know, we weren't really thinking of the score. We were just trying to play down in their half. And, you know, we were lucky enough to get down there and get a couple of penalties. You know, we could have easily gone for the corner or something, but we took the points and backed ourselves to try and win the game with a try. And it ended up being like that. So sometimes those things go your way and sometimes they don't.
All Blacks halfback Aaron Smith there, the man who got the points, or who got his team, the Highlanders, over the line in a New Zealand derby. And Barry, you've got to say that Chief skipper Brodie Retallick would have been disappointed at the loss after his side actually scored more tries than the winners. It was 4-3 in terms of tries, and of course they had a double from Etene Nanai Seturo, but they seemed to pay the price for some poor kicking and lapses in discipline.
Absolutely, you know, and in truth, if you look at that, those set pieces, you got to put away the kicks, and then secondly, if you maintain your discipline, most of all in modern rugby, you are likely to get the result. And I think discipline, he'll be very disappointed in his team lacking that discipline to get over the line.
The Highlanders have picked up 4 points for their victory to take the early lead in the New Zealand Conference and the overall log, while the Chiefs had to be content with a single point for losing by 7 or fewer points. And I know, Paz, you want to talk about the game that was played in Australia. That was, of course, an Australian derby where that new halfback combination of Will Guinya and Quade Cooper looks like a combination that could inspire the Rebels forward.
Yeah, indeed. And look, if you have a look at how it all ended today, they ran in 5 tries. So you got to say that this is a combination that we've all got to be looking out for. And I certainly got my prediction wrong in both of those games this morning. I did, however, think that the other sides that lost were going to win, but by narrow margins. But I certainly never thought we would see results like this today. But I like this combination of Cooper and Guinya. But as you and I were saying before we came on there, we need to see the consistency first. Let them play 3 or 4 games together, and let's see how long it lasts. They were impressive today. Let's see how long it lasts.
Let's give you weekend fixtures. The Auckland Blues will take on the Canterbury Crusaders in another New Zealand derby. And then we have the Waratahs playing host to the Hurricanes. Sunwolves of Japan will take on the Sharks of South Africa. The Bulls versus the Stormers at Loftus in a South African derby. And then the Argentine side, the Jaguares, will take on the Lions out in Argentina. And just before we move on, Chris, I want us to touch on, of course, just a few of the themes that we are likely to see in this particular Super Rugby campaign, because it's one that's going to be played just an entire season all at once. Over the last few years, they've had the break where the international teams have come to play and then they finish off, and it's primarily because it's a World Cup year, and that World Cup pressure is likely to tell on these teams this season in terms of how they play and their selections.
Absolutely. And you have some players who will obviously be rested for certain games. It's not going to have as much flair as it would. And that World Cup pressure, particularly for teams like the Crusaders, where, you know, they start out as favourites, but just taking a look at their track record, they don't always win in a World Cup year, except for, I think, 1999 is the only exception. So I think for teams like that, there's a lot more pressure. There's a lot more pressure on the players, on the coaches as well, in terms of their selection, because you can't risk certain players in a World Cup year. So that's going to affect the entire league as a whole.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, there will be a lot of pressure from the home unions as well. That will be dictating how the franchises use the players, especially as we have seen in the past with the All Blacks. You know, they come up with a plan, a roster of competitive action in the World Cup year to make sure that their best players are ready for that World Cup. And I guess it speaks as to why the Crusaders have always struggled in a World Cup year, because they harbour the majority of the All Blacks.
Hi, my name is Zugba Amute, Los Angeles Clippers small forward, and you're listening to ZiFM Sport.
Around the world in 60 seconds, international sports news.
Otago and Maranello, where Ferrari have unveiled the car they hope will end their title drought and Mercedes Formula One dominance in 2019. The new Scuderia Challenger, the SF90, was launched by Sebastian Vettel and new teammate Charles Leclerc, radiating the classic Ferrari red as well as splashes of black and adorned with the iconic prancing horse. Ferrari are the sport's most successful and historic team, but come into the new campaign with fresh youth and vibrancy in Leclerc. Over to California, where Jordan Spieth enjoyed a superb start to the Genesis Open as the opening day was hit by a lengthy weather delay. Spieth raced into a share of the early lead on 5 under par after an initial aborted start with only 10 groups on the course when play was suspended due to an approaching storm, which soon rendered Riviera Country Club unplayable. Touching down in North Carolina, NBA All-Star Weekend descends on Charlotte as the league's biggest names get ready for more time in the spotlight. The weekend starts with the celebrity game early Saturday before the likes of Ben Simmons, Luka Doncic and Jason Tatum headline the Rising Stars Challenge. Then on Sunday, we have the Skills Challenge, 3-point contest and Slam Dunk contest before the main event early Monday as Team LeBron take on Team Giannis.
The Daily Sports Trivia question is brought to you by Profeeds. Profeeds, your feed and farm professionals.
It's competition time. Simply send us a WhatsApp message with a hashtag Profeeds Trivia, and you might be the one lucky listener we call back. I'm not going to tell you why we're laughing. You'll field 2 questions, and if you get both correct, you'll be our daily winner and in with the chance of winning our fabulous first prize of 2019, a Capri Double Door 290-litre fridge. The first draw for this year will be next Friday, the 22nd of February.
Right, let's go to our lines, and we are going to Chigowe tonight, and it's a very good evening to Lovemore. Evening, Lovemore.
Hello, Mark Zirse.
Yeah, excellent. Right. Are you ready?
Yes, I hope I will make it.
You hope you will make it. First of all, tell me who your favorite football team is.
Arsenal.
It's the first Arsenal fan who got. Yes. I thought
there's only 2 Arsenal fans I know, you and Sean.
I thought one got in Nick Roots.
Right. Question number 1. In what position did Dynamos finish on the log last season? Was it 10th, 11th, or 12th place?
Wasn't it 11th?
Well done, Lamo.
Good guess. Right, question number 2. Name the most successful team in Super Rugby. Name the most successful team in Super Rugby. Right, you're 50% of the way there. Get this one right. Come on, Lovemore.
I guess it's the Hurricane.
Have another
We
go.
were talking about them just now.
Oh, I was busy. I wasn't listening at that moment. Any clue?
Clue. Okay.
They're from Christchurch.
Yeah.
In New Zealand. They're from Christchurch in New Zealand.
Oh, Christchurch.
And they're called the Canterbury.
Come on. Canterbury Crew.
When they run onto the field.
Crusaders.
Yes!
Nothing like getting help. Nothing like an Arsenal fan needing help, eh? Well done, Lovemore. Your name will go into the draw for that Capri Double Door 290-litre fridge, courtesy of Profeeds next week, Friday. Keep locked on to ZiFM Stereo. Have a good weekend. Cheers, Lovemore.
Oh, thank you, Mark.
The Daily Sports Trivia question was brought to you by Profeeds. Profeeds, the performance feed.
Questa Play is unlike TV. Questa Play stay entertained all day. Online streaming channels on your TV. For kids, entertainment. Movies, sports, and music. Gaming, travel, and more. Premium entertainment on Questa Play. Watch it all, find it all. Questa Play is unlike TV. Unlike TV, yeah. Questa Play stay entertained all day. Questa Play is unlike TV. Unlike TV. Questa Play stay entertained all day.
Get your Quessa Play device for just $59. Quessa Play. It's unlike TV.
Stay up to date with the latest sporting action and the freshest lineup of on-demand sports on Kwese iFlix. Immerse yourself. Bask in the glory of pulsating action anywhere, anytime. Welcome to the beautiful game on ZiFM Stereo. Brought to you by Kwese iFlix.
Kwese iFlix, entertainment on the go. The league that makes football oh so beautiful. Where artistry and strokes of genius are the order of any day. Where the game is played with a smile and the little master creates his magic.
It's Lionel Messi!
All the news from the Spanish La Liga on ZiFM Sport.
The goal the world wants it!
After two consecutive draws in La Liga, Barcelona hope to return to winning ways when they welcome struggling Valladolid to Camp Nou tomorrow. Ernesto Valverde's side will also have the return of the Champions League in the back of their minds, with the Catalans playing in Lyon on Tuesday night. Valladolid are badly out of form with just 2 wins in their last 14 matches and are very much involved in the battle to avoid relegation. Now, earlier today, Ernesto Valverde signed a 1-year contract extension with Barcelona, and the manager said he has more titles to win with the Spanish champions.
Bueno, con esa sensación de...
I am very happy with the feeling of living this great experience. I'm also thankful because I can see that the club values my job here and they have given me the opportunity to continue as coach. I'm so happy for this situation. It's true that we have many challenges ahead, many games to win and titles to conquer. I feel very comfortable working here, backed by the club and the board of directors, and also very comfortable with the team and the players. We know the dimensions of our club and everything it generates. It's such an incredible challenge to coach this club and these players. All this contributes to give me an extra incentive to keep on going.
That is, of course, Ernesto Valverde, manager of Barcelona. We were going to lie to you and say he caught up to Sean earlier, but Sean doesn't know a single word of Spanish. So we kind of like going to stick to the script. And now, Alois, Barcelona, 2 draws on the trot, but still maintaining a 6-point lead in the league. They're up against a relegation struggler. This should be a game that Barcelona will be looking to win, seeing as they are playing at the Camp Nou.
Yeah, I think for them, they need that. They were very, very I think they can actually tell themselves that, you know what, we did well by maintaining a big distance between themselves and the chasing pack, because those two draws, if there was somebody closer, they could have closed that gap out to be a very, very competitive season. But 6 points, I still think to close down 6 points on Barcelona is a big, big gap. And now playing against Valladolid, for me, this is a walkover. They're going to win this game, and it's up to the chasing pack to keep chasing, to maintain that distance. Otherwise, if they slip up, the gap is going to be bigger.
Well, Lionel Messi, of course, he's been working his way back to full fitness. He's been playing at about 80% according to his coach, and we have seen that in his performances where he has been at walking speed but still able to influence matches. He's getting back to something like full fitness, and if he is fully fit, he should run the show.
Yeah, and for the first time in a long time, Barcelona didn't have any midweek fixtures, so that also assisted in getting back to full fitness. So I expect that he's going to run out and start this game at full tilt, and I expect that towards possibly 70th, 80th minute, he'll then be pulled off. I think he's now fit because we're going into the tournament that they actually want to win the Champions League next week, so he wants to be fit and firing for that one. So I expect to see the fully fit Lionel Messi this week.
Let's give you your La Liga weekend fixtures. It's Celta Vigo versus Levante. Rayo Vallecano will take on Atletico Madrid, who'll be hoping to get back to winning ways and keep up the pressure on Real Madrid and Barcelona at the top of the table. Real Sociedad versus Leganes. Barcelona, of course, takes on Real Valladolid in that game we talked about. Real Madrid entertains Girona at the Estadio Santiago Bernabeu. Valencia welcome Espanyol de Mestalla. Villarreal versus Sevilla, and Real Betis will take on Alaves.
Horsepower unmatched. Torque to beat the best. Speed unrivaled. Sleek and easy on the eye. Let's get behind the wheel of football engineered to perfection. The Bundesliga, made in Germany.
Bayern Munich could move, at least temporarily, to just 2 points behind top of the table Borussia Dortmund when they travel to Augsburg tonight. But the Bavarian outfit is likely to already have one eye on next week's Champions League first leg crunch tie away to Liverpool. Niko Kovac's side face a tough battle domestically and internationally to land both major pieces of silverware as they trail BVB by 5 points and face Jurgen Klopp's beaten finalists from last year. Let's focus on the Bundesliga, Mike. Bayern Munich, they're in the rare position of being chasers, and so far the chase hasn't gone so well because the team they're chasing is doing the business.
Yeah, the team they're chasing is doing the business, and also I think something that may work in Borussia Dortmund's favour is the fact that they look like they're going to get knocked out of the Champions League. They're trailing Tottenham Hotspur by 3-0, so they're going to have the sole focus of the Bundesliga. Remember, they were also knocked out of the DFB Pokal, so they've just got the one competition to play for now, unless, of course, they have a miracle comeback at the Westfalen Stadion when they play the second leg versus Tottenham Hotspur. So that works against Bayern Munich, who are challenging on multiple fronts. They're still in the cup. They're still, of course, in the Bundesliga, keeping up the chase on Borussia Dortmund. And then they've got those two crunch encounters versus Liverpool. The first one will be taxing because they're away at Anfield, and we know the Anfield nights, Champions League nights, are never the easiest. You know, I was watching an interview of İlkay Gündoğan, who played in the Bundesliga and is now with Manchester City, and he was saying that Bayern Munich, it was done by Bild, actually, an interview by the German magazine, and he was advising Bayern Munich that they really need to be at their best, because he was like, you know what, Anfield can blow you away. It's the type of place where you can concede 3 goals in 10 minutes just because of the atmosphere and the pressure that the fans put on you on nights like the Champions League. So it's going to be a difficult period, but if Bayern Munich can work their way out of this one without having lost ground on Borussia Dortmund in the league, I have a feeling that they might just get over the line, especially as the injuries are beginning to tell now on Borussia Dortmund. They're missing Marco Reus for a few weeks. He's their best player, inspirational player, captain, and if he's away for any length of time, it might be advantage Bayern.
And something else working in Bayern's favour, Paz, is the fact that they're playing on Friday night, that's tonight. They're playing against Augsburg, a team that they should be able to do the business against, but there's no easy fixtures in Germany. But Bayern Munich should be good enough to beat Augsburg. They've got enough rest, they've got enough ability to prepare for that Liverpool game. So lines falling in pretty pleasant places for Bayern Munich.
Yeah, very much so, and I believe they'll do the business tonight. But then again, I think as we've said earlier, that they've got a tricky visit in the Champions League against Liverpool. So yeah, look, I think all being equal, they will win, and they should win pretty easily tonight.
Certainly. Let's give you Bundesliga fixtures: Schalke versus Freiburg, Hoffenheim versus Hanover, Stuttgart versus Lipstick.
Wow.
What's on your mind?
After your admiration of John Bon Jovi earlier and his long hair and flowing locks, Barry, you talk about lipstick.
Stuttgart is not playing lipstick, they're playing Leipzig. Wolfsburg versus Mainz, it's Hertha Berlin versus Werder Bremen, Eintracht Frankfurt versus Borussia Mönchengladbach, and it's Bayer Leverkusen versus Fortuna Düsseldorf.
The Beautiful Game, brought to you by Kwese.
Turn your TV into an entertainment hub and choose what you want to watch with all the new Kwese Play device. Enjoy seamless entertainment streaming on apps such as Kwese iFlix, Netflix, YouTube, and Al Jazeera. Watch unlimited online entertainment from live sports events, movies, series, top kids shows, and even play games on video channels. So get your Kwese Play device today at zwstore.kwese.com or visit your nearest e-commerce shop for just $89.
Kwese is revolutionizing home entertainment with Kwese iFlix.
Pogba!
Kwese iFlix brings you the freshest lineup of on-demand sports and entertainment on the go. Get access to an extensive range of sports, over 3,000 shows, movies, and more, all at your fingertips. Download the iFlix app today on Google Play Store and Apple App Store and watch TV wherever, whenever. Kwese brings you entertainment on the go with Kwese iFlix.
Kwese, beyond TV. Paolo Rossi, Marco van Basten, George Weah, Gabriel Batistuta, Alessandro Del Piero. Serie A has been home to some of the world's finest strikers. And now they welcome arguably the greatest of them all, Cristiano Ronaldo, the best of Italian football on Z.
Juventus play host to Frosinone in Turin tonight, looking to extend their unbeaten Serie A streak this season to 24 matches. Frosinone make the trip to the defending champions, having won just 3 matches in the league this season, but the visitors are only 2 points adrift of safety. And you look at this and you think this is going to be an easy match, but sometimes those teams with quite a lot to fight for will kind of have a little bit more bite than you'd expect in these matches, eh?
Yeah, I think it's a procession. I think it's pointless discussing who wins Serie A because
just look at Alois's face.
Yeah,
somebody get a camera, take a picture of him.
Juventus is going to win Serie A. Make no mistake about it. That's because they got the best squad, and that's going to happen. But I think the discussion that people will increasingly start to have now, Chris, is around whether they can finish the season unbeaten, whether they're going to be invincible at the end of the season. And we had a similar discussion around Barcelona last season, and they ended up losing to a side that no one expected them to lose to. We all thought that Barcelona were a shoo-in to finish the season unbeaten, but the one game they lost was against a team that they should have beaten on an ordinary day. That's because there's now the added challenge for teams that are playing you that, hey, you know what? We can't allow these buggers to finish the season unbeaten. And they look for that tag. You've just said it perfectly, Kingslayers, that we are the side that beats you. That could be something of an incentive for whatever team is playing Juventus between now and the end of the season to say, hey, we want to be the team that beat you there.
And can you say that Frosinone could be that team?
I don't think so. I think the pressure will come perhaps in the sort of like last 8 games of the season, and it might be against one of the bigger sides. Your Romas, your Napolis, your Inter Milans, your AC Milans, at least sides that are able to match Juventus on the field of play. She's nicknamed the old lady of Italy. They also nickname her La Fidanzata Italia, the girlfriend of Italy, but believe me, she's not that generous.
I think
not even on the 14th of February.
Not even, eh? She never pulls her skirt up, Oz.
Oh, dear.
Except to run away with the league.
There we go.
Yeah, you see what I did there.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, I think, yes, Juventus has got a fantastic squad, and I agree with you, Mike. There's another factor also, it has to do with the squad depth. The squad depth of Juventus is working in their favour on the basis that Bunch, they are able to keep all of these players hungry enough. We've seen it. I forget the team that they were playing where they scored in the dying minutes, and just last weekend they managed to score 3 goals in the last sort of 15 minutes of that match. So this is a squad that is hungry for achieving, hungry to do the business, and that big squad is assisting them.
Yeah, I see. When you look at their team now, they are the most successful team right now, and they're the best team in Italy. Those players, they want a piece of cake. Every one of them, they want to be on the podium and say, I contributed this, I did that for the club. They don't want to be just a passenger in a big team that has got a lot of talent. So I think that pushes Juve to go further away from the rest of the squad, because each member of that team wants to play a part in the success of the team.
Now, in the next coming season, do we see any team that can put up a surmountable challenge against Juventus and actually have a lot more competitive league?
I think they're going to have to invest.
I think so.
They're going to have to invest.
Yeah. Any other team, a team like AC Milan, for instance, who dominated Italian football, world football for a long time, they need, if they are going to mount a challenge on Juventus, they need to spend big if they are going to challenge Juve. Because I see Juve just dominating.
A few seasons ago, AC Milan actually invested, but on the wrong players. They actually spent money.
Yeah, but
on wrong players.
I get where you're coming from, Alois. But I've always argued that, guys, without Champions League football, there are certain players you can't buy. You can't buy. Yeah. It was the problem with Liverpool when Liverpool was not in the Champions League, and people were saying, oh no, Liverpool, they're buying Lovren, they're buying substandard players. That's because the top players will not join you if you don't have Champions League football. And you have seen how Jurgen Klopp has been able to buy better players, because Liverpool is now a Champions League side. So he's been able to go to Virgil van Dijk and say, join us, to Mohamed Salah and say, join us. So you're able to shop right at the top when you have Champions League football. You've got the prospects of winning things. But AC Milan right now, as long as they don't make it to the Champions League, there's a certain caliber of player that will not play for them.
Yeah, but Kumba at that time, they had a lot of them. They spent a lot of money. They could have saved that money, for the rainy day.
Which rainy day?
It's the rainy day today.
It's a rainy day today.
When they get into the Champions League.
Let's take a look at your Serie A fixtures this weekend. Juventus versus Frosinone. Cagliari will take on Parma. Atalanta takes on AC Milan. Spal will be against Fiorentina. Empoli against Sassuolo. Genoa will take on Lazio. Udinese versus Chievo. Inter Milan versus Sampdoria. And Napoli will take on Torino.
All the rivalry.
The captain likes the touch paper. It is blue touch paper. Always him on Derby Day.
All the stars.
Absolutely brilliant again from Mo Salah. The twinkling feet, the ice cold finish, the Egyptian on fire.
And all the game-changing moments.
Aguero!
All the updates from the Premier League on ZiFM Sport.
This is the league we want to watch.
Well, the Premiership takes a break this weekend while we focus our attention on the 5th round of the FA Cup. Tonight, Queen's Park Rangers will entertain Premiership side Watford. Brighton against Derby County tomorrow. Wimbledon against Millwall. Newport County will take on Manchester City. Bristol City up against Wolverhampton Wanderers. Doncaster Rovers will face Crystal Palace, and Swansea City against Brentford. Chelsea host Manchester United on Monday night at Stamford Bridge in the pick of the 5th round fixtures. Interesting game that, because we're just hearing today that United have 2 major injuries.
Yep, Anthony Martial and Lingard. I think they're out for anything between 2 and 3 weeks. So more than just this game versus Chelsea. Also, there's Liverpool who visit Old Trafford next weekend as well. Jurgen Klopp will be smiling because that's 2 players who are likely to start, who are not going to be in the starting lineup, and we know the threat that Anthony Martial brings on the left side of attack, and that means that young Trent Alexander-Arnold is likely to have an easier time of it if he doesn't have to face Anthony Martial.
Yeah, we can already start seeing the match already playing itself out against Liverpool, because Anthony Martial is actually one player that can actually match what Liverpool can give, because when Liverpool go attack, he is the only player that can also counter attack, run with the ball out of that half. So now it's going to be very, very difficult. But on the game against Chelsea, I think Chelsea are not in good form. I think that one Manchester United can match. I'm not sure how Manchester United are going to recover from the downfall. They hadn't lost in a while. And the coach as well, he hadn't lost a match. So I want to see how he recovers from this and actually motivate the team. We don't know how he has been motivating these guys. They've just been winning. Now we want to see how he motivates them from a defeat. So it's going to be very interesting in the game against Chelsea.
Read reports, Barry, of the team huddle that they had at Stamford Bridge in the aftermath of that 6-0 drubbing by Man City. Apparently a lot of embarrassment, a lot of players who feel that they've let the club down, and these players will be looking to put in a performance versus Manchester United. And I think that's the one danger Man United has got to be perhaps alive to. That I think the Chelsea players are going to come out fighting. They're playing in front of their own fans. Exactly. They've got a point to prove that, you know what, we're not as bad as the 6-0 versus City. And it could be a bruising encounter. United could win it, but I fear it may be a bruising encounter because the tackles will fly in. They'll want to show heart. They'll want to show passion and fight.
The one thing, the narrative that has come around that Chelsea loss to Manchester City was very different to what we've seen in previous years, where we've always had the media jumping on the back of the manager. This time, the media has actually said, the manager may not be such a problem here. The players aren't delivering for this manager. So I think that's put a lot of pressure on the players, and the players have got to rise to the occasion. I agree with you. And as a result of that, they've got to show up.
Another guy who's fearing a bit of, should I say, some harassment is Pep Guardiola as well. I think he did his scouting report, Alois, versus Newport County, and the one thing he mentioned was that they are all bigger and taller than my players, and it was a genuine fear of his. He says that my players are going to take a battering versus Newport, and this is in the physical stakes. He knows that he can beat them in a game of football, but they're going to take a bruising.
Yeah, I know they will, but being Pep Guardiola, I'm sure that the tactic is just to rotate that ball fast. He's just going, guys, just have to move it fast so that you don't get into a physical contact with the players. I'm sure they will be having a lot of running in the match. Otherwise, if they're going to be slow, they will be battered for sure.
The Beautiful Game, brought to you by Kwese.
Turn your TV into an entertainment hub and choose what you want to watch with the all-new Kwese Play device. You can enjoy seamless entertainment streaming on apps such as Kwese iFlix, Netflix, YouTube, and Al Jazeera. You can watch unlimited online entertainment from live sport events, movies, series, top kids shows, and even play games on video channels. Get your Kwese Play device today at zwstore.kwese.com, or you can visit your nearest Econet shop for only $59.
We are out of time. We gotta go. May God richly bless you. That's my story. And I'm sticking to it. Manandi, out.
Catch all your favorite sporting action on Kwese iFlix. Download Kwese iFlix today on Google Play Store or Apple App Store and enjoy entertainment on the go. That was The Beautiful Game, brought to you by Kwese iFlix.
Kwese iFlix, entertainment on the go. Sure to catch ZiFM Sport every weekday on ZiFM Stereo. My station, your station.